and welcome to the Secrets of Happily Ever After podcast. I'm your host, Monica Tanner, with my co host, Nate Bagley of Growth Marriage. And we are so excited to talk about a topic that is so vitally important to having a thriving, passionate, intimate relationship. And that is the rule here is you
Where did
can't
this
be
rule come from?
Terry Real.
Terry Real. Give the man some props. Give him his
Most
flowers.
Most of what we talk about comes from the Relational Life Institute and Terry Real and the groundbreaking work that he's done. He has worked closely with John Gottman, Esther Perel, Gabor Mate, many of the greats. And one of the tenets of his therapies and how he helps couples create more intimacy and passion is by teaching these skills. And one thing that he says is that he's very adamant about you can't get upset about something that you've never asked for. And here's
Can't,
where
you can't
most
you
couples go
can't
wrong.
complain about not getting something you never asked for.
Yeah, did I say that
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah. You said you can't get upset about something you never asked for.
Yeah, right.
So
Right. And
yeah,
so here's what most people do, right? Because this is like what we're, taught in our culture. This is what we see. And this is just kind of how we're programmed is we walk around complaining about all the things we're not getting. I mean, this is like, being a member of a bunch of girl groups where we go out to lunch and we complain about our husbands not helping around the house and not changing any diapers and not being romantic like
yeah.
when we were first dating. And it's very easy and not vulnerable to complain about all the things we're not getting. And then we
This
think
is this is my life right now. This is my
you're,
life right
you're
now.
doing a lot of complaining.
Yeah, I just I this is a great episode. It's a good reminder. This weekend, I'll just give a quick example. This is something that everybody deals with. So
Mhm.
I'm dealing with this right now. I left the house to go run some errands, and the house had gotten to be quite a mess. We had a long week and hadn't had time to tidy up, and the kitchen was a disaster, and the laundry was like piling up. And I left for a couple hours, and upon my return home, I'm so excited to walk into a house and have the dishes be done and or the laundry like be folded and put away. And I was just like so looking forward to that. And I walk in the house and the kitchen is dirtier than when I left. And my wife was like, I don't know if I'll give her, she's probably playing with the kids, making a fort, or like in our bedroom taking care of something. But I walked in and like the laundry was still piled up. And I just had this look of dejection on my face. And my wife was like, "What? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing." But I was frustrated. I was frustrated and upset. She's like, "I can tell I disappointed you." And I'm like, "No, I just kind of thought that while I was gone, you might make some progress on what we said we would get done today." And then I got home and it's not done. And yeah, I'm frustrated. I had an expectation that was uncommunicated
Mm.
and then it didn't get met. And now I'm being a poo-poo head. I'm being a
Yeah.
jerk about it.
Right.
And it
Right.
happens a lot right now because I don't know. Sometimes I don't know to ask for things. I don't realize that I was expecting something. And then I come
Right.
home and I'm bummed that it didn't happen. And my wife can see it on my face. And then she's like, I'm just a disappointment. So it
Right.
doesn't help. It doesn't help me or her.
So here's
So
a saying that's really important that can save a lot of this is more specific requests on the front end, less resentment on the back end.
love that.
So if you had thought to say, hey, honey, I'm going to be gone for a couple hours. I'm going to run some errands. I would love it. Here's where the request is. If you could maybe work on the dishes and the laundry. So when I come home, it's not so overwhelming or there's not so
Yeah.
much to be done.
I would love it if
I would love it if a very
that is
specific,
a surrendered wife. That's where I learned that one from. That
well,
phrase.
requests should be specific, behavioral, and time bound. So specific in that the dishes and the laundry, work on those two things. Those are very specific. Behavioral, wash the dishes, fold the laundry, something that you could actually do. And time bound, what I would like right now while I'm gone is for those things to be done. That is your request, knowing that you're not always going to get everything that you
But if you
asked
did get
for.
it, you sure would love it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, in this episode, what I really want to make sure of is that by the time this episode is over, you have a really good recipe to follow that's going to help you make requests. So, if you listened a couple of weeks ago, I challenged you that every time a request crosses your mind, not you don't even have to state it every time, but when you in your mind have a complaint, I want you to find the request behind it. So if you're getting ready to complain about anything, about anyone and anything, there's
What's the request you didn't make?
there's always a request underneath it. And I'm going to teach you a really powerful way to make these requests so that you have the highest probability of actually getting them done. And
I
I'm
think
going
I
to
know what it is, but I'm excited to hear.
And I also really want to teach you what to do, whether or not the request actually is fulfilled.
Cool.
So, the first step in making a request is knowing what they are. So you got to turn the complaint into a request. Number two, this is a more advanced skill, but I important nonetheless. And when we start talking about the repair process and things like that later in the year, we're going to come back to this, but you can start working on it now. And that is what Terry Real teaches that I like to call remembering love. And there's two things that we need to do when we're addressing our partner. Number one is remember that the person you're talking to is somebody that you love, somebody that you live with, somebody that you care about and want to be happy. And number two, the reason why you're speaking is to make things better. So instead of having a bunch of complaints about this lazy, ridiculous person that you just have to put up with that doesn't ever do anything, instead you can make requests. But remember that you're talking to them, to somebody that you love, and you're talking to them to make things better. And now you're ready to make a request.
I
So,
want to, maybe there's a second part to the request, so I'm going to just stay on board here. Now you're
okay,
ready to make a request. Okay.
now you're ready to make a request.
I would love it. I literally just texted this to my wife. I would love it if we could have dinner tonight at 5:30
Yes.
as a
Yes, that
family.
is an awesome request.
I think there's one obstacle that it would be fair to throw in the mix here. I think it's one thing to like show up in your relationship and just say like, oh, I could just ask for this and I should ask for that. And like, if you get really good at requesting, you're gonna get everything that you want. But I think that there is an element of personal responsibility that comes into play here as well, which is, are you setting your partner up to succeed at giving you what you want?
That is an awesome, really important point
It
because
is it is my job to give my partner everything she needs to give me what I need.
yes,
So my wife might be like, "Yes, I would love to fold the laundry tonight, but I have a really hard time folding laundry when I have 2 toddlers crawling all over me and throwing all the piles everywhere. So, could you take the kids with you to the store so that I can fold laundry uninterrupted?"
yes. Now, see, that's how you can get an A plus plus at making a request because you brought up several really good points. One is you have to teach them how to do it. You have to like, so if your request is for your wife to fold the laundry, you have to make that very specific. Like, can you please fold the laundry and put it away? That would make me extremely happy. An A plus plus student is then going to say, is there anything I can do to make it easier for you to fulfill this request for me? At which point she would say, yes, it would be much easier to fold and put away the laundry if there were not two toddlers hanging on me. And then you can say, ah, I got it. I will take the toddlers, you fold the laundry, boom,
Mission accomplished. We're both
mission
happy
accomplished.
campers.
Yes.
It's no fun to make a request to somebody who is who can't fulfill on the request because of the circumstances that they're in. Setting them up to fail is not going to make you either of you happy.
Exactly. And here's like a really important concept in relationships. If if I lose and you win, or if I win and you lose, we both lose.
Yeah,
Because the reality is that the loser is going to make the winner pay. So you
yeah,
want to create circumstances in which both of you are winning. And especially when you're making a request, how can you help your partner win? How can you help them come through for you? And oftentimes it's super simple. Why am I going to stretch? Why I'm going to help you do what I'm asking you to do is because then we both win.
yes, yes. Love that.
Yes.
So here's the homework. Number one, think about the areas of your life where you're complaining and
Mhm.
think about the thing you did not ask for first.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like things are not fair? Where are you feeling a little bit of resentment? And then identify, what am I not asking for? So
What is the
easy
request?
common example. If you're resentful that every Saturday your husband spends multiple hours watching football games and you're like just left to kind of take care of all of the household duties and the kids and whatever while he gets to relax and watch TV, what are you not asking for? For some people it might be like, hey, I don't care if you watch football as long as the house is clean first. Or I don't care if you watch football as long as you give me 2 hours today to have completely to myself to go get a massage or
Yeah,
to go
but
hang
those
out
are
with my friends.
requests. Like change the way you're saying that, Nate, because I know what you're saying, but
Right. Well,
the
I'm starting to
request.
identify like what's the need.
Right, exactly. You would be complaining about he started watching football before the house was cleaning. He
Right.
started watching football
So
and I
what's
didn't
what's
do what
the
I
thing that's irritating you about him watching football? And then
exactly.
it's like, okay, something's bothering me about this. What is it? Is it that I need time for myself?
Yeah,
Is it that I'm left to my own? I'm left with all the responsibility of watching the kids or taking care of the house. And it's like, okay, so if those are the complaints, those are the things that I need. How do I make that request next week? How do I
exactly.
say, hey, I know you want to watch football all day today. I know you're going to want to watch football all day tomorrow. Um, I don't want to be a resentful wife. So I want you to be
Uh,
happy and to be able to watch football. I want you to have that, but here's what I need.
yeah. Or what I would love.
I
is-
would love it if I could also go have some time alone tomorrow and to go get a massage.
Yes.
I would love it if before you turn on the TV, the house is clean and the chores are done and that you are the person who's getting the kids to take care of it, not me.
Yes. So good. So good. So you're making that request
Yep.
really, really, really well.
Is there anything you need from me to
Is
make
there
that
anything
happen?
I can do to make that easier for you to fulfill my request? So good. Yes, you guys are going to nail this. I'm so excited. I hope
Just
that
try it out. Try it
try
out
it.
this week. See what happens.
Exactly. Even if you do it badly, I guarantee that it's going to be better than just
Then
complain.
nothing. Yep.
And I would love for you to write in either on Instagram or Facebook or send us an email.
YouTube.
Let us know, uh, you know,
How it goes. Let us know how it goes. Did it work for you? Did it not work for you?
I think I hit my head as well as my knee when I fell. Exactly. Yes, I would love to know how this new way of making requests works for you. And then, so step three is what we're going to talk about next week. So I hope that you will join us. But step three is really acknowledging even a small amount of progress. So even if they do part of the request, you're going to acknowledge it and show gratitude.
Yes.
And then keep asking the question, how can I make it easier for you to fulfill more of this request for me? And then after you've done those three things, after you have, um, well, you're going to start with remembering love. So
Mhm.
here's the recap of this episode. You're going to start with remembering love. You're going to dare, really, we didn't say this explicitly, but you're going to dare to rock the boat. Like making a request is tough. It's vulnerable. You have to deal with the idea that because
Yep.
it's a request, your partner can turn you down.
Complaining is a safe cop out.
Right. It's
for
not vulnerable.
not being vulnerable in your relationship.
Exactly. It's not vulnerable, but it's not going to get you more of what you want. So being willing to rock the boat and make the request, making it very specific and doable, and asking, what can I do to make this easier for you to fulfill? And then recognizing what your partner has done or given to help fulfill the request. And then the last and final step after you've done this, really, and I want to tell you, if you do those things, I want you to pat yourself on the back and be like, good job, me. Like I am setting myself up for success in the future. Like I may not get everything that I want in this very moment, but I guarantee I'm going to get more than just complaining about what I'm not getting.
Yeah.
So I want you to pat yourself on your back and then on the back and I want you to just let it go. Now, here's a really important concept that I feel like we have to talk about just real quickly before we sign off is keeping micro disappointments micro, because there will be times when your partner does not fulfill the request or doesn't do a very good job. And that is a micro disappointment. Relationships are disappointing sometimes. And what we do sometimes is that we take a micro disappointment. My wife did not fold the laundry while I was gone, even though I made the request and I took the kids and I did all the things to help her win. She did not come through for me. She never comes through for me. She's super lazy.
Horribleizing.
Yes. You are escalating this small micro disappointment. I didn't get what I wanted on this Thursday afternoon to I never get what I want. This relationship isn't working. My
It's
wife never does
one-sided.
what I
I
ask.
do everything. Yep.
Yes. So I want to make sure that you recognize when you make a request and it goes unfulfilled, that that is a micro disappointment and that you can continue to make requests and that there's going to be times when your requests are fulfilled and there's going to be times when they're not, and you're going to be disappointed. There's always going to be reasons to be disappointed. But if we will keep those disappointments micro and not escalate them and make them, tint your entire view of the relationship, you're going to be much happier and you'll continue to make requests with the promise that some of them will be fulfilled.
I'm taking notes. Here's my commitment, Monica.
Yeah.
I am going to do this week, and then when we show up next week at the beginning of the episode, I will report on how it has gone because I think my marriage would benefit from more of this.
Yeah. And here's the cool thing, because if you're listening to this episode and your spouse isn't, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try this, watch as you are the example for your spouse to follow. Like they're going to be like, I really, they're not going to, they might not be able to put it into words, but they're going to be like, I love the way Nate asked me to get the laundry done, asked me how he could help me come through for him instead of just coming home and being pissed because it wasn't done. And then watch them as they start to mimic you and also make requests.
Yes, they will. I've experienced it.
Well, I can't wait to hear how this goes for you next week. And I hope that if you're listening to this episode and you gleaned a few of these things, even if you do it badly, I want you to write in Moni@monicatanner.com or find me on Instagram and let me know how it goes, how making the request went. Did you follow the steps? Even if you did it badly, how did it go? And we might even read your experience on next week's episode. We're definitely going to hear from Nate how it went. And next week, we are going to talk about how to appreciate progress, even if it's a small amount of progress. We're going to talk about the
And
best.
why it's important to do that.
Yes, why it's important, and we're going
I
to
know some
refer.
people I know some people hate the idea of celebrating and rewarding progress.
Hmm,
We'll talk
that's
about that in the next
interesting.
episode.
Yeah. And we'll also bring in what we're learning from Amy Sutherland's what
What
Shamu
Shamu
taught
taught me
me.
about life, love, and marriage.
Yes, I will be further along when we record that episode and we're going to talk about it. So if you want to grab a copy of that book
Do it.
and yeah, do it. And then you'll
It's a
be more
goodie.
prepared for next week's episode. So thanks
See
again
you
for
next
joining
week.
us. And we'll see you same time, same place next week.
Or different time, different place. However you just choose to listen to this.
It's true. And if you're loving what you're learning from this episode, feel free to share this episode with your friends, or,
Or you
give
can share it passive aggressively with your spouse to tell
right.
them this is what I need you to listen to this episode because you need to make this change. So if you got this episode from your spouse, just know that your partner,
Hey, I would love to hear you do that in request form. Use what you learned
I would
today.
love it if you'd listen to this episode and give me the things that I need. Start asking for what you want instead of complaining about what you're not getting.
How can I
I would
make
love
that
it if you would
easier
do
for
that.
you?
Okay, bye.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.